America's 16-year-long war, 16 years in Afghanistan, has cost us more than 2,200 lives and more than $800 billion. The latest death, Private First Class Hanson Kirkpatrick, a 19-year-old who died Monday afternoon from Taliban mortar fire. Despite these deaths and all the time and money that's been spent there, the Taliban still controls roughly one-third of Afghanistan. To try to change that, a bipartisan group of senators visited the capital of Afghanistan early this week to push for more U.S. military action in the war-torn country.
The time for a strategy has come. We need a strategy in the United States that defines our role in Afghanistan, defines our objective, and explains how we're going to get from here to there.
I think more American forces with NATO forces, with more aggressive rules of engagement, the utilization of American air power will turn a stalemate into success.
The Trump administration is thinking about sending in more troops, with most expectations putting the surge at 3,000 to 4,000 Americans. Here to discuss what a new strategy would look like and whether a troop surge would do the job is Buck Sexton, a former CIA officer and the host of Buck Sexton with America Now. Buck, is this what do you make of the idea that we're going to send 3,000 to 4,000 more Americans into Afghanistan?
It's not going to be enough. The truth is that politicians don't want to admit that repeating the word strategy when it comes to Afghanistan is not a strategy. They keep talking about how we're going to have new ideas. We don't hear any new ideas. To be fair to the administration, we should see. Maybe they will come up with something. But so far, everything that we're hearing from at least members of Congress and those who are being open about the challenges we face in Afghanistan is much of what we've heard now for over a decade. Look, as long as the Taliban has the ability to re-equip, to refit, to train, to recruit, to do everything that it wants to do on the Pakistani side of the border, even under a best-case scenario, and we're nowhere near there right now in Afghanistan, right. Even under a best-case scenario, you're just forestalling a later conflict when the Taliban comes back across the border. The reality right now is the Taliban's in the strongest position it's been in, arguably, since 2001.
Right, since the war started.
That's right. And so to talk about sending back a few thousand troops, that may temporarily stabilize the situation, but I don't think anyone's going to seriously make the argument that just a few thousand more troops alone is going to be sufficient when, as we know, during the Obama years, and granted, he had the whole surge, but also withdrawal, I didn't think the way he did it was putting national security first. I think that it was very politicized for domestic approval rating reasons, but the idea that we're going to be able to do this now with 4,000 more when we weren't able to eradicate the Taliban, set up enduring institutions in Afghanistan, a self-sustaining and self-defensible Afghan government, these have been the goals for over a decade. This has been going on now really for the entirety of the war.
So would you send those troops? I mean, do you put those lives at risk if it's not going to be enough?
If they don't have a new idea that is different from what we've heard before, and they are not absolutely committed to a new strategy, which they keep talking about, the answer is that we should be prepared for a drawdown. But I don't think anyone wants to make that case right now because it sounds defeatist after all the time, blood, and treasure we have spent in Afghanistan. But I also don't think that there's anybody who could stand up and win a debate on the other side of the argument right now, which is that somehow 4,000 U.S. troops is going to change the situation. It is worse now than it has been in at least a decade.
Unsettling. Hey, Buck, thanks. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you.
Buck Sexton. Great to see you as always.